The following is a presentation of the Fairfax Network.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Bienvenidos. Hello, welcome to World Tour Language Series, and welcome to program number 16, Spanish program number 16 of our series. My name is Mrs. Ada. Me llamo Doña Ada. And I'd like to welcome you to our objectives of the day. We have a very interesting program because we're starting with Costa Rica. We're going to Central America, to Costa Rica. We have the review of the seasons that we already have had in previous lessons. We have a verb, tener, to have. We are going to talk about food phrases that we have already learned, and some more words, and secrets to success. And I'll tell you that because it's a secret. I'm not going to tell you right away. So let's start with Costa Rica. And Costa Rica, the name itself means rich coast. Just like Puerto Rico meant rich port, this is rich coast. And it was the name given by the Spaniards when they arrived in that area. I would like you to pause and open your book on the section of Costa Rica, on the first page of Costa Rica, and think about Costa Rica and answer this and do the activity. When I think of Costa Rica, what does come to my mind? What do I think of in terms of people, climate, place names, clothing, and food? And this is on page 21, this activity. The reason I asked you to pause and think about it is because we already have talked about three previous countries, Spain, Mexico, and Puerto Rico. So España, Mexico, and Puerto Rico we have already studied. Then think about Costa Rica. What are the differences, if there are any, and what are the similarities, which I'm sure there are many similarities on these Spanish-speaking countries. Now let's see where Costa Rica is located. In this map, Costa Rica is located on that section that you see that is a little darker, and it is the smallest country, the small country in Central America. It's very tiny. As I said, it is called Rich Coast, Costa Rica. Costa Rica has the border of Nicaragua on the north, and the Caribbean Sea and the Panama on the east, and the Pacific Ocean on the southwest. It has lots of mountains, Costa Rica. San Jose is the capital, and coffee is their main export. See, when the Spaniards arrived, Costa Rica was claimed by them. Then it finally broke away from Spain. After breaking away, it joined the Mexican Empire. Did you know that? For a while, and later withdrew from Mexico and eventually became independent. Costa Rica's army it has been abolished by the Constitution, but forces can be formed if there is if it needs national defense. Education in Costa Rica is about 93% of people can read and write, and it's higher than any Central American country. Its sports are soccer, bullfights, and they have mass parades, just like the ones we saw yesterday in Puerto Rico, similar to that. Most countries in Spanish-speaking countries, they are similar in their celebrations. Let's see the flag. Let's look at Costa Rican flag. This flag, I hope you can appreciate the colors, is used by the government, and it was adopted in 1848. The national flag has no coat of arms, however. But let's talk about this one that we see. The coat of arms consists of 3 volcanoes. It has a Caribbean Sea and the Pacific Ocean. And each stars that is in this coat of arms represent a province. Costa Rica has 7 provinces. Let's go to the map of the cities, and I would like to briefly go through the cities of Costa Rica. As I point out, if you see on the near Nicaragua the name Punta Arenas, that means sand point, really, in Spanish. So Punta Arenas is the major port city before Puerto Limon that you see on your right on the east. But it was a major port city. Then next to Punta Arena, you see Heredia, Heredia. Heredia is the oldest town. It's one of the main coffee growing centers in Costa Rica. Then following, you can see San Jose, which is the capital. Near Heredia, you see also Limon. Now, Limon is very famous because it has a port, Puerto Limon, and also because Cristobal Colon landed in Costa Rica from this port in 1502. Now, if you see the other city of Cartago, this is where Juan Vázquez de Coronado, the founded the first settlement in Costa Rica in 1564. It used to be the capital of Costa Rica before San Jose, the city of Cartago. And then lastly, I have Alajuela, and Alajuela is well known, and we will talk about this the next lesson. It's well known for its ox carts. This is where the ox carts were built and became famous. It lies also there, the monument of Costa Rica's hero, whose name was Juan Santa Maria. I really wanted to give you all this information so when you open your book to this map, you have an idea of all these cities. Let's talk about people and the Indians. Let's talk about the Corobichi, the Indians of Costa Rica, and the Boruca, and the Carib, Chorotega, and Nahau. Now, the Indians of Costa Rica did not fare very well because the Costa Ricans, the Spaniards really fought fiercely the Indians, as well as the Indians, the Spaniards. But lastly, mostly now that you find in Costa Rica is pure Spanish people. I like to talk about Coribichi. It is the tribe in the north. And Boruca is from the south. The Carib, the Chorotega, and the Nao, they arrived much, much later. And as I said, they used to fight fiercely the Spaniards. Now, in Costa Rica, you find mixed Spanish, which are called mestizos, some Indian ancestry, and you find Jamaican people from the Caribbean, which have their own local Jamaican dialect in Costa Rica. Costa Rica has a terrific climate, and you know there are many, many people who like to retire in Costa Rica because of its climate. It enjoys a diversity of climate. It has high mountain ranges called cordilleras. We don't need really air conditioning or heating in Costa Rica. Because of this diversity of climate and temperatures, Costa Rica enjoys a lot of national parks. And Costa Rica, it is said that 27% of its space is kept for national parks. And because of this information, I would like you to sit back and relax and watch this clip of this video of the national parks of Costa Rica.
Slowly, over more than 5 million years, the two great land masses of the American continents neared each other until they were finally joined by a narrow strip of land, Costa Rica. Thus, the South American Neotropical landmass joined the North American Neoarctic, and these lands became a corridor, bridge, and filter for thousands of species in the two biological universes. And the ocean was also divided into the Pacific and the Caribbean. And so it was that Costa Rica became a huge barrier between the infinite life forms dwelling in these seas. These phenomena, together with other geomorphic characteristics, such as Costa Rica's location at 10 degrees north of the equator, and the high mountain range crossing the country from the northwest to the southeast, have created the atmospheric conditions that lead to Costa Rica's multiple climates and microclimates, incommensurable biological wealth, and extraordinary natural beauty. Welcome to the exuberant magic world of Costa Rica's protected wild area. The rain, as it slowly accumulates over time, creates innumerable rivers, streams, and channels, which create large watersheds that favor the development of life. Action between these waterways and drainage, light reflection, plant cover, topography, and the wide range of atmospheric oscillations, such as received solar radiation, wind, cloud cover, and atmospheric temperature, generate very diverse climates. This multiplicity of climates and environments has made possible the existence of more than 800 bird species, 350 reptile and amphibian species, some 10,000 plant species, and approximately 5% of all the world's butterflies. All of them are a testimony of this magnificent earthly paradise.
Okay. Well, I hope you have enjoyed this clip of our Costa Rican national parks. At this point, I'd like to start with our language lesson. We're going to turn our workbook to page 61, please. And there is an activity also there that you can do at home. Let's start with reviewing our seasons. Do you recall the seasons of the year in Spanish? Estaciones. We'll start with winter. And it's el invierno. That's winter. El invierno. Invierno. Good. Let's continue with el otoño. El otoño. See all those O's, and it's otoño. Not otoño, but otoño. And based on that picture, what is it? Otoño? Autumn. Very good. Let's go to the next one, and it's el verano. This is my favorite one. El verano. It's summer. I love the summer. I also like la primavera. La primavera, and that's spring. Those are my two favorite seasons of the year because it reminds me, especially el verano, of Puerto Rico. So practice those at home and practice with your friends. And when the change of seasons start, practice them. Tell them, I can say that in Spanish. And it's on page 61. Now, we're going to page 42. We're going rather fast. And I am going to introduce you to a verb which is tener, to have. Tener. And this verb, we are using it when we go shopping as well, tener. And this is also, you can find this verb also on page 51. And the reason I'm using it here is because we're also using it with food words. So let's go with yo tengo, I have, yo tengo, I have. Now remember, if you use the verb tengo alone, you don't need to add that yo. But for now, let's learn it that way. Yo tengo. And you have is tú tienes. Tú tienes. And this is the familiar tú, not the formal tú. Tú tienes. And then the formal one, you say usted tiene. You have. Usted tiene. And then we have he has. And it doesn't change, just like ustedes. Él tiene. Or it has. Remember that in Spanish we don't have a translation for it. It's just as he. Él tiene. And then she has. Ella tiene. Or it has if it's feminine. Ella tiene. Watch that double L. Ella. Just like yes in English. Ella tiene. And then we go to the plural side, to our pronouns plurals. Nosotros tenemos. We have. That's a long one, so let's practice again. Muy bien. Nosotros tenemos. We have. Nosotros tenemos. And when it's all a group of yous together, plural, we say ustedes tienen. You all have. You have. Ustedes tienen. Now pause here. You see that ustedes, a long word, and it's not capitalized the U. When there is abbreviation on ustedes, which is, we saw it already the previous lessons, it is capitalized. But in this time we put the whole word is ustedes tienen, and it's not capitalized. Let's go to the last one is they have. Ellos or ellas tienen. It's just like the ustedes. You see here, we have feminine, we have masculine on they, not unlike the English one. So ellos tienen, if it's masculine, ellas tienen, if it's feminine. And in order to use this verb, I have chosen some of these words that are connected with food, probably, and I call them food phrases also. How would you say to be thirsty? Now, don't get confused. You're going to say, ay, doña Ada, this is getting really complicated. To be. Remember yesterday I talked to you about a verb, to be, which was estar, and another one previously, ser. Well, these are phrases. These are things that the only way to understand is by learning them by rote. So to be thirsty, and it's on page 51, means tener sed. So we are using the verb tener, to have, thirst, rather, if you want to translate it directly. Tener sed. Sed, S-E-D, it's a very short word, means thirst or thirsty. Tener sed. And when you want to say, I am thirsty, so here what we say, tengo sed. Tengo sed. Now recall I said that if you use the verb, which is tengo, the correct way, in the pronoun correctly, you don't need to write that pronoun like yo tengo sed. That's perfectly fine. But if you want to speak really fast, you don't have to put yo before tengo. You just say tengo sed because you're using the correct verb in the correct tense. Let's see, to be hungry. That's again another one that to be means in this case tener. To be hungry, you say tener hambre. To be is tener in this case, and hambre is hungry. See, both words hungry in English and hambre in Spanish, they start with H, but the H in Spanish is what? Yes, muy bien, mis estudiantes. It's silent. You don't pronounce it, so it's like it's not there. Tener hambre. And so how would you say, I am hungry? Are you? I am hungry. So how would you say that? Muy bien, mis estudiantes. Fantástico. Tengo hambre. Or if you prefer, you say, yo tengo hambre. But in this case, I want to show you an easier way. Tengo hambre. Drop that yo and it's completely fine. It's correct. Tengo hambre. Now that we're talking about being hungry, let's eat. To eat. And how would you say to eat? It's a simple one, and I'm sure you have heard it before. Comer. Comer. So, tengo hambre. What would I do? I go to comer. Comer. And how would you say I eat? I eat. Como. And then you can add whatever you're eating. It's como frutas. I eat fruits. See? Como, I drop the yo again because it's the first person and you're using the correct verb. Yo como frutas. Instead, I say como frutas. don't get confused because this word como can mean something else too, but we will go when the time comes. We'll talk about it if we have time. If not, look in your workbook for directions. Then, to drink. How would you say to drink? If you are thirsty, tengo sed, I am thirsty, I want to drink. So to drink means tomar. Tomar, to drink a glass of water, tomar. Now, tomar has other meanings in the future. As you study more Spanish, you will realize, but for now, tomar means to drink. And how would you say, I drink something? I drink water. Tomo. And then, what is water? Do you, by any chance, know? Muy bien, agua. Tomo agua. Tomo agua. We will learn some food words. Tomo agua. See, I drop again the yo. Tomo agua, which is perfectly all right. It's correct. I just drop it and make it even still correct. Tomo agua. So we have learned these phrases. Now let's pretend we are in a restaurant and we want to practice other phrases concerning food. I would like to say, I would like something. So I would like, how would you say that? Quisiera, quisiera. Remember? Quisiera. Let's say I would like coffee. So I say quisiera café. And of course you may have to add por favor, which we will learn as it comes. Quisiera café, please. Quisiera café, por favor. And another phrase that you will use in a restaurant, could you pass me the, and what would you say for that? Remember? Me puede pasar. Now, without the S is formal. You're talking to somebody that is not very familiar to you, or to your parents, or to someone politely. You say, me puede pasar. Now, if you are with a friend or someone that is younger than you, you could say, me puedes pasar, and let's say you want the butter. Me puedes pasar la mantequilla, and we will learn those words. Me puedes or me puede pasar. And then how about when you have already eaten enough and you say, I'm full? How would you say, I'm full? There it goes. He comido suficiente. He comido suficiente. I know someone had said he comido suficiente, but it's not he, it's e, and that H is silent. That's why it's e, like if it were just an E alone. He comido suficiente. Literally means I have eaten sufficiently, I guess, or I have eaten enough. I'm full. He comido suficiente. And how about when you really like that food and you want to express how much you like it? You say, it's delicious. And you say, está delicioso. When it's something that is masculine, there we go again with our rules. Está delicioso. And if something that is feminine that you have eaten is está deliciosa. So delicioso or deliciosa. And in Spain, Castilian, they would say delicioso, deliciosa, that TH sound on the C and the Z. It's perfectly all right in both ways. Now, when you finish your meal, in Puerto Rico, we say it probably at the end or maybe at the beginning of the meal. You say, enjoy your meal. And you can say that by saying, buen provecho. Buen, which means good. So, buen provecho. That means that it has done well to you. So, buen provecho. Provecho. That's a new word. A little tricky because of that CH sound. Provecho. Now, since we have done this before, these phrases, and I'm just introducing them once more, let's practice quickly. See this picture here? What do you think he's saying to her? He's probably, we could guess, he could say, me puede pasar, in polite, formal, the butter. Me puede pasar, or if he knows her rather well, he'll say, me puedes pasar He could also say quisiera, I would like the butter. How about the next one? How would you think this? Yes, what does that mean? Muy bien, mis estudiantes. He comido suficiente. I am full. He comido suficiente. Estupendo. Let's go to the next one. Yes, está delicioso. And I use delicioso with O at the end because ice cream in Spanish is masculine, helado. So it's delicioso. Está delicioso. Now, my students, very briefly, I want to show you secrets to success. And the secrets to success, we're showing verbs. In Spanish, there are verbs that start on AR and verbs that start on ER and IR. We're going to show you just the AR today. We have verbs ending in AR. And what you do, you drop the AR away of those verbs and you add O when it's the first person, as the second, a the third, and then amos for the plural, an for the plural second person, and an for the plural third person. So these are verbs that will help you if you really master them. These verbs will help you to go ahead and practice your Spanish and learn it very quickly. So I will ask you to please continue studying and continue these verbs. Tomorrow I will show you an example of these AR verbs like amar, llamar, and then we will talk about it and we'll learn the rest of the verbs, the second ER and the third IR. So stay tuned, study your workbook and follow me. Now, these secrets to success, you don't find it in your workbook. So this is an additional little tidbits that I'm giving you to practice and to learn your language. So practice with me, keep in touch with me, write me if you find that something is a little too complicated or is too fast for you to absorb. Let me know. Okay? For now, I say adios, hasta mañana.